As said in the first project, Sphere Constructions is a construction company specialized in customized houses. It's located in Quebec City. Now let's look at the second part of the project. Human Resources Management. As said in the first part of the project, human resources management is a very important part of a company's well-functioning. Today, we will take a closer look at two specific functions of HRM that touch our company, Sphere Construction. These functions are rewarding and recognizing employees, as well as managing employee performance. Rewarding and recognizing employees. To begin with, let us discuss the function of rewarding and recognizing employees, which is the 8th chapter of the book Essentials of Human Resources Management. This chapter talks about the different pay and benefit structure, as well as the reward strategies used by organizations to link the different reward methods to the business strategies. For this chapter, I will focus on two main areas of the subject that affect our company, Sphere Construction. First, we will start with the use of rewards to develop a company strategy, and we will after explore the factors that influence the determination of compensation. Rewards and company strategy. In theory, the main goal of rewarding employees in an organization is to enhance employees' motivation and growth, while aligning their efforts to the goal of the company. In practice, it is almost the same, except that when it is a smaller company, such as Sphere Construction, it can be done rather easily since employees and the employer know each other almost personally. This proximity allows the connection between the company's strategy and the rewards much more effective. As much in practice as in theory, it is important to create a relation between the needs of the organization and the employee. Factors determining compensation. Compensation is determined by external and internal factors. In fact, this segment of theory is very much similar to what is done in practice. Internal factors, such as the employer's compensation strategy, the relative worth of the employee, and the employer's willingness and ability to pay, are crucial to determine compensation. Externally, it is the state of the economy, the collective bargaining, the area wage rates, the cost of living, the legal requirements, and the labor market conditions that influence the determination of compensation. For Sphere Construction, the collective bargaining played a great role to determine the wage of workers, since all carpenters have the obligation to be part of a union, which determines their wages based on the field of work. Also, the labor market conditions, which are in the advantage of the employees these days, since there's a lack of qualified labor, force the managers to use compensation as a way to retain its workforce. Managing employee performance. To continue, the second function we will be discussing is managing employee performance, which is the 7th chapter of the book Essentials of Human Resources Management. This particular function is very important in an organization to ensure that the workers are participating as much as possible to the well-being of the organization. Employees are one of the most important assets of a company, since they are the ones dealing with the customers, hence the importance to review their performance and improve the quality of the service provided. For this chapter, I will discuss the three main sections of this function that are relevant for Sphere Construction. First, I will explain the purposes of such system, then I will go over the reasons why these systems can fail, and I will end by the ways to make an effective performance management system. Purposes of managing performance. In theory, there are 4 purposes to performance management systems: compensation purposes, administrative purposes, measurement of performance, and developmental purposes. Performance management is most frequently used to make decisions regarding compensation, but it also includes administrative decisions such as promotions, transfers, and layoffs. The measurement of performance is linked to the purpose of development, since the managers will try to develop some of the skills of an employee based on its performance evaluation to try to make the employee more effective and valuable to the company. At Sphere Construction, Performance management is mostly used for compensation, measurement of performance, and development, since it is a small organization in which there is not enough position within the company to be able to give promotions. Failure of performance management systems. In theory, performance management systems are supposed to work when they are correctly executed. However, some factors may influence the process and make it less effective. In fact, the main reason why these systems can fail is based on the fact that they are executed by the managers, who can be biased like any other human. It is hard to be completely objective, and it can sometimes makes the employee doubt about the fairness of the system. Also, a factor that can result in the failure of the system is a lack of communication. Fortunately, it is not often the case in small organizations like Sphere Constructions, since there is a more frequent and direct communication without any intermediaries. Effective performance management system. In theory, an effective performance management system is formed in 6 steps. The first step is to clarify the work that needs to be done, followed by setting goals and establishing a performance plan. After, it requires regular and frequent coaching. Then, a formal review of performance must be conducted. Finally, it is important to recognize and reward performance, followed by the creation of an action plan. In practice, it is realistic to follow these 6 steps. However, as said previously, the subjectivity of the managers can apply that apply the steps can alter the accuracy of the outcome. At Sphere Construction, we try our best to apply these steps to improve our performance management system. We're most of the time successful since being a small organization, the process is done on a smaller scale, reducing the possibility of bias and errors during the process. In conclusion, the theory is close to perfectly applicable in practice. What is proposed in the book is in fact the ideal scenario of what organizations would want to apply in their business strategies. Sometimes there might be some flaws in the systems when they are put in practice, but the most important is to keep the main objective in mind. At Sphere Construction, we try our best to put the theory in practice as accurately as possible, even with its small organizational structure. Sometimes the theory is harder to apply in small organizations, like the topics we talked about in the first part of the project. However, the two functions discussed in this part of the project are more likely to be effective in a small business.